I want to talk about 12-team college football playoff, Alabama's place in it, or not, for the time being. I want to talk about a little bit of Lincoln Riley, Penn State, what's at stake for Penn State, what's at stake for USC. I want to talk a little bit about, well, is Kane Womack okay? Is that Alabama defense okay? What exactly has Vanderbilt done to the sport of college football? What can we continue to glean from that historic upset? And I want to get into, is it possible that Texas is looking ahead instead of focusing on the only rival not named Texas A&M that they have to beat? What's up, kinfolk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Thank you for watching the #1 college football show. If you are new here, please stay a while, hit the subscribe button, ring the bell so you don't miss any of the segments that are uploaded to the show, because we do keep it moving over here. Turns out your mans has lots to say, and he is always going to have some opinions. Appreciate y'all for rolling with me through week 7, which is going to be outstanding, man. Like, I've been excited about what is on the calendar for October 12th for months, because Ohio State, Oregon, Oklahoma, Texas, right? Didn't know that I wanted to watch Alabama, South Carolina, but now I want to watch Alabama, South Carolina, in addition to Colorado and Kansas State, and on down the line. But first, let us take a look at the college football playoff projections that I wrote at foxsports.com, where you can go read it. Matter of fact, y'all continue to make my top 25 at Fox, and the college football playoff projections at Fox, one of the most read things on the site, also shows that we really do care about rankings, that we really do care about projections, which are basically rankings, right? I'm the rankings guy in college football. It's one of the reasons that I love to talk about it, and I do it as often as I do. I think that the rankings matter. I've always thought the rankings matter. Preseason, postseason, they always matter to me, because when we get to moments like this, where October 13th, I expect there to be some moving and some shaking going on, they're absolutely positively going to matter, and we could see a new number one this week, just as we saw a new number one last week. So let's go with college football playoff projections as I see them. And what I usually do with this is I take my top 25 and then I whittle it to where it fits the definitions and the criteria that are provided by the College Football Playoff Selection Committee that will start ranking teams in earnest in about a month from now. So at number 1, I got Ohio State, Big Ten champ, projected Big Ten champ. Probably changes if something happens later this week, right? Number 2, I got Texas, who's coming off of a bye week, not unlike Oklahoma. Number 3, I got Miami. Number 4, I got Iowa State. Number 5, I got Oregon. Number 6, I got Georgia. Number 7, I got Penn State. Number 8, I got Clemson. Number 9, I have BYU. 10 is Tennessee. 11 is Oklahoma. 12 is Boise State. Those are the 12 seeded teams in my college football playoff projections. Texas moved up to number 1 in the AP top 25 because, well, the college football axiom had been activated. The college football axiom that has been activated is that anybody can get their ass beat anytime. That's what we learned last week. It's not just that 4 of the top 11 went down to unranked opponents. It's that those unranked opponents upset those top 11 on the road, which is, for the most part, some of them on the road. Vanderbilt was obviously at home. Arkansas was at home. Trying to think, who else was at home? Texas A&M was at home. I guess the point there is that they're not on the road. Who else was there? Arkansas. Somebody help me out. Arkansas, A&M, Vandy. Who else did we miss here? It'll come. Somebody was going to hit it up in the chat. But no, they weren't on the road. That's the take. They were not on the road. They were at home. So you have that going on. You also got Arkansas, who turned Tennessee into the Red Solo Cup of Volunteers that they so scrumptiously drank. And then we got what? We got A&M catching a tiger by its toe, when it hollers, put him in the figure four. That's what they did. Bama can get banged, slumped, and dumped by the Commodores. Called them Vanderbilt, B-U-I-L-T. My goodness. It's a Commodores reference. That's a Brick House reference. That's a Lionel Richie reference. Did y'all know that Lionel Richie owns 9 of the 11 blocks on Rodeo Drive? I didn't know that until I started looking up random facts about Lionel Richie because of what Vanderbilt did, because Vanderbilt is, mascot is Commodores. Say nothing of Cornelius Vanderbilt. Alabama lost to a Cornelius. I've been in enough fights now to where I fought a lot of different dudes with a lot of different names. I ain't never lost to a Cornelius. I don't know that I want to know if I lost to a Cornelius, but I've been fighting at this weight for like 6 years, so it's possible. But if you're a Cornelius and you got hands, maybe your last name is Vanderbilt, because that's what Alabama got, was these hands. I was thinking about this, man. Call Vanderbilt the home team, because Nick Saban was going, that's the only place in the entire SEC where you feel like you're the home team because you got more fans than they do. And they said, nah, we going to beat up your Bama, and we're going to stand over your beaten body, and we're going to say, is this your king? Is this your king? Thou wast born of a woman, but swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn, brandished by a man that's a woman born. That's my man, Billy Shakespeare. That's Macbeth. Vanderbilt might suffer Macbeth's ultimate fate. Of course, he died. But herald me sing a song of dreams, one on that October 5th date. Man, I love me some Shakespeare. I do love the verse, and I do love to speak it. However, I got Alabama outside of the top 12 teams in college football, whereas the AP dropped them to 7th. And I believe that if you lost to Vanderbilt, you don't get to be a top 10 team. Not the week after you lose to Vanderbilt. I don't give a damn how good Vanderbilt looks to you. I don't care that we are all praising Diego Pavia, and we're also talking about Clark Lee nicely, and Jerry Kill seems to just know how to build winners over there. Put Jerry Kill on your staff, probably going to win some football games. I'm still looking at this going, you lost to Vanderbilt. Don't none of us lose to Vanderbilt, and you got to suffer the consequences being the number one team, the first number one team to take a loss to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt had lost 60 consecutive times to number 1 or number 5 teams, like 1 through 5, right? And then you are the first one to give up the booty to the Bilt. Come on now. Come on now. You can't be no top 10 team after that. Again, you lost to Cornelius. You know what I mean? You didn't lose to Kirby. You didn't lose to Dan. You didn't lose to Sark. You didn't lose to Ryan. You lost to Cornelius. Don't nobody lose to Cornelius. But Cornelius gave y'all that work, right? Beat you down. Tagged you like graffiti on one of his rail cars. Bama's loss to Vanderbilt also makes the whole Georgia loss to Bama look even worse, because Vandy lost to Mizzou. Mizzou lost to Georgia State. Mizzou lost to A&M. A&M lost to Notre Dame. Notre Dame lost to Northern Illinois. Vanderbilt also was the first, or excuse me, not the first. It was the first time that we'd seen a number 1 get beat by Vanderbilt, but it was not the first upset of the day. And that was what made Saturday so cool. Is I don't know if we're going to see another Saturday like this. Like, I was just talking to a buddy of mine who roots for a blue blood. I'm not going to talk about that blue blood because that, of course. But the point would be, if we were Vanderbilt fans at this time, you would not be able to talk to us about anything ever. Every conversation would come back to, we beat Bama. We beat Bama. We beat number 1 Bama. We didn't beat no also ran Bama. We didn't beat no Mike Shula Bama. We beat number 1 ranked Alabama. Everything would come back to that. So if you're a Vanderbilt fan, be insufferable, my dude. You have earned it. It's also kind of looking at these college football playoff projections. Super conferences, they're a thing, man. You got 15 of the top 25 just in 2 conferences, the Big Ten and the SEC. At number 5, I think Oregon's in the best spot. And I'm not sure how you're going to take that going into the game against Ohio State on Saturday. But I believe that the best spot for anybody to be in is 5. Because at number 5, you're going to take on what we think is going to be the G5 highest ranked conference champion. Right now, that's Boise State. If you're Oregon, you love to have that game because A, that game is in Autzen, and B, that game is against an opponent you already beat. And now you got tape of Ashton Jeanty, and you got tape of the Boise State offense run by Dirk Cotter. You got tape of Spencer Danielson's squad. You understand what you're up against, and I would expect an Oregon team that would play Boise State in December feels a lot better than an Oregon team that played them earlier in the year. Ashton Jeanty aside, we don't think that Boise State should be in that football game against Oregon. If Boise State could pull off the upset, great for them, but you're still going to go play Iowa State, right? And if you're Oregon, that's what you want. You want to play Boise State, you want to play Iowa State, and then you get the number 1 ranked opponent, provided that they win their game against the 8-9 matchup to get to the spot. Be like, but they got the bye week. The bye week doesn't matter after you played a football game. It doesn't matter. The bye week matters for the next game you're going to play, not the next 2 games that you're going to play.